guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be more of a chill video, no ride. If you guys saw in yesterday's video, it was a little damp and it ended up actually like raining today. It stopped raining, but it's still pretty gloomy and I kind of don't want to risk going on a ride in the rain. So yeah, that's why I'm not riding today, but I'm still gonna make content for you guys. In my last video, a subscriber commented asking me about like the three main differences between the Ninja H2 and the Yamaha R1M. And honestly, like those are completely like two different vehicles. So what I'm trying to say is that like there's a lot of differences. But for the topic of this video, I'm going to be talking pretty much about like kind of the main three topics that differentiate these two bikes and like how are they so different since they're both technically like leader bikes, you know what I mean? Also, sorry if there is kind of like a line in the video or something like that. I did a bunch of research about it, I tried to fix it, it's really tricky to fix. It's pretty much just because I'm using all these artificial lights. The camera's like refresh rate or something like that isn't matching the lights like rate or something like that, so like you end up seeing those kind of like black lines or whatever. So sorry if that's there. I tried to fix it, it should be a little bit better, but if it's annoying and there's a lot of it, my bad. I honestly don't know what to do at this point. I have a nicer camera, so I might start using that, even though I like using the GoPro because it's like just small and I can carry it everywhere with me and it's just easier to use. But yeah, so let me set up the camera and let's get this video started. Alright, camera's all set up, and now let's talk about the three main differences between the Ninja H2 and the Yamaha R1M. First and foremost, obviously, like the power. I get that they're both leader bikes, but for some people actually get this confused. I've been told a few times that like some people think only the H2R has a supercharger. So any H2, even the naked ZH2 is supercharged actually. So they're all supercharged, and well, not this. This bike is a leader bike that is supercharged, which means it makes way more horsepower, like a lot more, and it's very instant. So power-wise, that's like kind of like the main difference, is just the fact that like this bike makes so much like intense and kind of like just super fast power. Like, you know, there's power throughout all gears and it's always instant and aggressive. So that's the main difference in power. The R1 just is like more tame. I've talked about it like a few times, or sometimes when I ride the H2 and then I hop back on the R1M, I'm like, wow, this bike doesn't feel like it's trying to kill me, because that's what the H2 feels like. If I stop riding the H2 for like literally like a week and I get back on it, first and second gear is always like brum, brum. It's like super jerky because I'm just used to this throttle, which is a little more like forgiving, you know. I mean, this is still a very fast bike, you know, it's an R1M, but it's just the throttle feel is just very different between these two bikes, you know what I mean? So I kind of always gotta like register in my head. I'm like, all right, this is not the same bike. I gotta kind of like tone it down, be a little more careful like with my throttle so it's not like jerky when I go. And yeah, I almost never use first gear because there's just no point, unless I'm like being super sensitive and gentle with the throttle. It's just too much power unless I stretch the bike, which I do not like that. In the future, if YouTube does really well, I am considering buying another H2 and completely going like crazy and building it like stretched, supercharger gears, cams, all that fun stuff, even maybe NOS, I don't know, like full build, you know, have another H2 that's pretty much like a race H2 and have this one as is, because I don't want to ruin this one by stretching it. I'm not a big fan of stretched bikes, so that's mainly why I haven't done it yet. So yeah, power wise, as I said, this bike made like 250 to the wheel, and this bike did like 180 to the wheel. It was like 183, and this one, yeah, I think like 250 to the wheel. I have videos of the dynos if you guys want to check out these videos. So to the wheel, there is 70 horsepower difference. That's a lot of power, you know what I mean? It is not like a small amount. Like 70 horsepower is the difference between, it's almost more, yeah, like most 600s probably make like 120 horsepower, 125 to the wheel, if even, honestly. I think that's what they make crank. I bet they make like 110. So the difference between the H2 and a regular liter bike is literally the difference between a 600 and a liter bike. So it's a whole different class. Power-wise, they're just not the same. This is a hyper bike. This is not a regular super sport. That's how I classify, and that's how it should be classified. Another thing, the two main things is the power and the weight. Those are the things like I feel all the time, even though I've been riding both these bikes for over a year, and I keep switching in between them. I still feel those things, and it's still kind of like is annoying sometimes. And the second thing is the weight. This bike is like way heavy. It's also a little bit lowered, so that will affect kind of the geometry of the bike when I move it around. It just feels like more stiff, you know what I mean? It's not as like nimble, and doesn't want to like move around as easy as the R1M over there. I mean, obviously this is a track bike, so they're gonna make it nimble. They're gonna make it like meant for, you know, to be taken in turns and canyons and track and stuff like that. Unlike this bike, it's already a heavy, big bike. It's lower too, so like that makes it even worse. So yeah, that bike is honestly only fun in the straights. And also I have upgraded clutch springs, which means that the like clutch is super heavy when you grab on it. I actually made a mistake by ordering shorty levers, which is kind of pointless because it's really hard to like kind of keep using just 2 fingers with that extremely heavy clutch, especially when you're like in traffic and stuff like that. So it's kind of like using a Lamborghini Aventador as a daily. That car is like very aggressive, very like expensive, parts are expensive, you know what I mean? It's just too much to be used as a daily. I have done that and it can be done. It's just not the best at that. But for the R1M, super light bike, super easy to move around, very nimble. In my opinion, it's a pretty comfortable bike. You know, a lot of people complain that sport bikes are not comfortable, all that stuff. I honestly think they're both like pretty comfortable. Like I don't mind riding either. It's just that this is not as easy to ride overall because of the power, the weight, and kind of like how stiff the bike is. This is just more fun to throw around when you split lanes or when you're going through traffic. The R1M is just easier, more forgiving, and it's just like makes a chill ride more enjoyable. The H2 is pretty much for like, I don't know, like crazy car meets or racing or, you know, events. It's not for like a daily cruise or something like that. Even though I still do it, you guys have seen on the channel, I do take the H2 sometimes on a like chill cruise, but not as often as I would like to take the R1M. That's the second point, is just pretty much that the H2 is more of a weekend bike and the R1M is like a better daily. Obviously neither of them are like amazing dailies, that's not what they're built for, but for someone that likes sport bikes like me, I think the R1M is a much better daily than the H2. I don't know, those are like the 2 major ones. There's a lot of like other like kind of little points, so I'm like trying to figure out what other kind of like third point I should talk about, which is like the main difference between these 2 bikes. And something that always kind of like gets to me is that how much attention the H2 gets. And I'm talking about attention from random people, like motorcycle enthusiasts, and from cops as well. It's a chrome bike, you know what I mean? It's shiny and it's really loud and it looks crazy, you know. It's almost like a hyper car. When you see some like crazy, like an Aventador or like an actual hypercar like Bugatti, something like that, you're gonna stare at it because you're like, whoa, like it looks crazy, you know what I mean? And people usually don't see it, it's rare. That's pretty much that bike. And so sometimes it attracts too much attention, which at some points is not nice, because sometimes I just want to enjoy the ride or have fun, and you get like cops staring at you, you know, it's just more attention. And sometimes like if I go to a meet, as you guys have seen in some of the videos, I don't really like leaving the H2 out in the open, just in case there's a lot of people that don't know how to drive well, or people that don't respect other people's vehicles. So like I don't want nobody like trying to, I don't know, get too close and scratch the H2, because like that side fairing right here, from this to this, just one side fairing is like $2,800 because of how like special the paint is and how like there's not that many parts for that bike. Like it would literally be cheaper, way cheaper, to buy 2 sides a full carbon fiber than just replacing one side of that. And that's why I haven't replaced any of the chrome pieces, because technically it's the most rare and even more expensive than carbon fiber, so why would I do that? So yeah, this bike attracts like too much attention, which something that like I always have to think about when I want to take it. Like sometimes I just want to go on a chill ride, nothing crazy, or if I'm just hanging out with friends and I'm feeling kind of like more on the lazy side, the H2 is a little too much, you know what I mean? It's a crazy bike, it's a hype bike, and I feel like it's not built to be taking for like chill stuff. I'm not talking shit about it. Obviously this is one of my, it's not one, it's my dream bike and it's my favorite bike. I love this bike so much. It's just, it's a little too much, and that's why a lot of people sell them. A lot of people sell them because it's too much horsepower. A lot of people are like, I can't use this bike on the streets, it's gonna kill me, which is very true. I personally love that. Having just an H2 as an only bike is not a great thing unless you don't ride as often. For someone like me who likes to ride like almost every other day, if not every day, then yeah, I need more than just an H2, because I can't be riding an H2 all the time, you know what I mean? Plus I would feel too bad putting like so many miles just cruising on an H2, you know? So yeah, that's kind of like the third point that kind of like also bothers me about, I guess, the H2, or the difference between them, is that like this is just more, it's still an amazing bike, it's still like a unique bike, it's still like great, but it's not as much attention like the H2. Pretty much like, if you want to take something from this last point, is that if you are someone that rides regularly and you only have one bike, do not get the H2, get the R1M. Even though it's your dream bike, trust me, because I bought the H2 and I had my ZX6R, and the ZX6R literally felt like 300 after riding the H2, so I had to upgrade, and I got the 1199, which also wasn't enough for me, so I ended up with the R1, which is amazing. That's pretty much it. Like obviously I can talk about like electronics, where the R1M has more electronics like wheelie control, slide assistance, all that stuff, like track stuff. It has a track GPS tracker also that you can connect your app to through your phone, so it can show you all the details about like your track like records, I guess, like your lap times, your lean angles, all that stuff. In my opinion, for them being about like the same year made, the R1M has way more like advanced technology than the H2. The H2, I guess you can compare it to a Hellcat, like a Hellcat or a Tesla, where the H2 is kind of like just power and like something crazy, and like they didn't care as much about the other details, where the R1M is more of like a kind of like a nice vehicle with technology and like more user-friendly. I believe that's it. Those are kind of like 2 or 3 main points, and I mentioned a couple extra things about the differences between the Ninja H2 and the R1M, and now I'm just gonna show you guys the bike, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, support, subscribe. You guys have been amazing. And also, if you did make it till the end, ask me questions in the comments down below. I'm going to be doing a Q&A. Someone also requested a Q&A, and so I might be doing it tomorrow or next week. But yeah, I'm going to do another Q&A. I've already done one before, but drop any questions you guys have and I'll choose like some of them for next video for the Q&A. So yeah, let me know, and thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.